Okay, so we're live. Namaste, Mr. Divithchowdhary, and welcome to the UthREXperience conversation, where every Wednesday we have one of our Rex Karmovir Global Youth Fellows like you as our guest and conversing with our host, Mr. Nishant Sharma. And as you know, the format for the first 45 minutes, Nishant has a casual, cool conversation with you. And then in the last 15 minutes, I would join you to just rattle the thoughts a little and provoke some insights and make it a little more thought provoking for our audience and our participants also. So over to you, Nishant, and I shall see you in the last 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you. All the
Yes,
best, Divith. See you.
Thank you.
thank you for that introduction. Namaste once again, Divith, and all our audience which is watching us, and a very good evening. And I want to welcome you to the Wednesday weekly Youth Experience conversations. And today we have our very own, very young Divith Chowdhary with us. So, for those of you who don't know Divith, let me just give a quick introduction. So, Divith is an avid MUNer and admirable quality, which is further backed up by his interest in international relations. Fantastic. All right. So he's also the founder of Youth Educational Summit, an organization which focuses upon contemporary world issues and their implications on the global economy. He has also contributed towards upbringing the social welfare of the society by being associated with Janseva Foundation and rotaract clubs in various capacities. So, Divit, did I say it right, or do you want to add anything more? Who is Divith Chaudhary?
Yeah, everything was clear and specific, and I think that covers it all.
All right, but if you were to introduce yourself, more than just your bio and profile, what kind of a person do you think you would say you are?
Okay, so I'm currently a high school student. I'm a 17-year-old boy, and I'm studying in Mumbai at Utpal Sangvi Global School, PPSIJC, and I'm doing my A levels, which is a Cambridge curriculum. So a lot of my studies are from abroad itself. So I would like to say that, like, as you have given introduction about, I'm associated with these organizations. So Janseva Foundation is one of the most closest organization to my heart because I'm the president there, and we try to take a lot of projects in terms of acid attack victims, trying to create awareness. And in Rotaract clubs, I'm the secretary again of my institute. So there also we are trying to upbring the social welfare of the society. So my interests have been towards community service since I've entered in my schooling age. So yeah, that's all about.
Lovely, Divit. Fantastic. Very exciting work that you're doing. So, Divit, I generally begin from childhood because we know what we're doing, what you're doing now. And of course, we'll talk a little bit more about that and your future goals. But I want to understand what is your earliest memory as a child? Would you like to share a little bit more about that?
Okay. So I guess when I was in eighth grade and I wanted to become a DJ. So you might be wondering that I'm sitting here, we are talking about social issues, and suddenly this things come that I wanted to become a DJ and play some good sort of music. Well, that's again one of my passion, one of my hobbies. But then when I came into ninth standard, I had a life turning point sort of thing, which has changed my vision towards what I wanted to become. And that actually got some sort of reality within me. That's my true vision, true passion. Well, as you have introduced that I am a MUNner, so I started doing MUNs. So I'll just introduce what MUNs means if a lot of people do not know about it. So MUN is a model United Nations, which is a United Nations simulation where we try to bring up delegates from a lot of places and they represent different countries and they talk about global issues, world issues such as human rights, environmental cause, gender inequality, etc., etc. And when we try to bring upon fruitful solutions. So when I was in my ninth grade, I attended this first MUN at Hyderabad, which was organized by the Harvard University, known as HMUN. And I was not aware that what's going on because I was just a new person who didn't have any experience, and I was just wondering why people are just talking about this and what is the real purpose behind it. But after this 3-day conference, I got to know that it's really important to know the world development around us, because we as individuals, we are restricted with information. But then when we try to get information about the globe, like how things work in that actual place, because after your schooling life, you have to get into professions. So you need to know these all stuff. So that really inspired me. And that was one of the most inspiring memory, I would say, not a fun memory though, which has changed my vision, changed my life. And because of the MUN which I've attended, I have decided to get into international relations, which is related to MUNs. So that has become one of my passion towards it.
Fantastic knowing that. And I think that gives us a lot of insight about you and your childhood. And that's all right. I think growing up, most people, most students, most young people have various ideas about, what they want to become. And I think like you said, DJing. Apart from DJing, what other things did you think about that you probably wanted to do when you grow up?
So basically, I come from a Marwadi Jain family, and there is an old saying within our family that you have to join your father's business. You need to, continue a heredity. So that was a plan B, backup plan for me. Suppose if I'm just a dropout from my college or university, I would probably join that thing. So that was one sort of a plan which I had. But apart from that, I was just restricted with two, three plans. Not really. I've not thought about my future so much. But when I got associated with months, I firmly decided that I want to get into international relations.
Right. And what was your first, which was your first MUN? When did you do it?
I did it. My first MUN was H1, which was Harvard Model United Nations. And when I was in my ninth grade, I guess in 2017 or 18, I'm not sure about the dates. So it was in Hyderabad at the Hyderabad International Convention Center, where a lot of global meetings usually take place. So that was my first MUN which took place there. And I represented economic United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, and I was representing the nation of Jordan.
Right. And how many MUNs have you done so far?
So far in the past 4 years, I've done around 30 to 35 MUNs. Previously, I used to be a delegate. I used to just go around just debates. But as I got the exposure of MUNs, as I got the experience, I applied for executive board members. So it's sort of like a moderator where you moderate the whole committee, and you are the person who basically decide who wins the debate or who loses it. So eventually, because of my delegate experience, I got into the executive board members circuit as well. And there I have got an experience of around 10 to 12 MUNs as an executive board member. And I've also organized 2 to 3 months in my institute. Where I was in my 10th grade, I used to study in a residential school known as Sanjay Kurawat International School in Kolhapur. There I had organized Western Maharashtra's biggest MUN conference, which had around 600 delegates. I was the USG for conference management.
Right. So can you tell me what are the different experiences you've had? So you've attended it as a delegate as well, being a part of the debate, moderating it as an executive board member, as well as organizing it. So can you tell me the various different roles that you played? How was the experience in all of these three?
Okay, so my experience was pretty entertaining. It was knowledgeable as well as memorable. So when I was a delegate, I had to do a lot of research work before the conference. I guess 2 to 3 months before, I used to sit in front of my laptop, gather and grasp lots of information. Okay, this is happening at this place. That's the whole problem. This is affecting this nation. So all sort of problems came at that point of time. I used to gather that information, and as a delegate, I had to frame it properly. And in a debate scenario, you cannot just forecast that this thing will be in that particular manner. You have to go with the flow, how the debate continues. So as a delegate, I had learned this skill of diplomacy, which is one of the most important skills, where I had known about how to get into debates, how to be a good diplomat, diplomacy skill, diplomatic approaches, and basically public speaking skills, which has empowered me a lot. So in terms of delegate, that was one of the most crucial job I feel I had. And when I got into executive board, when I used to moderate the committee, at that point of time, I got this thing that I need to be biased towards a particular this thing. Because in MUNs, what happens is that we have a lot of big nations coming, such as United States of America and China, and all are like, okay, US is going to talk about this. We are going to focus upon that. But then some of the delegates also represent very smaller nations such as African nations like Guinea-Bissau, and they are so experienced delegates. To be honest, they just come up and they just give such great speeches in the MUN. So that was the one thing I learned, that I had to be objective whenever I had to moderate the committees while judging delegates, and I had to take the knowledge from the whole committee's overview point of this thing rather than having a personal point of view. So that was the thing which I learned during my executive board time. And the most amazing part, which is the organizing part, which I learned a lot because to be honest, when I was in 10th grade, I had literally missed 6 months of my schooling and I had to just organize this MUN. And that was the most wonderful part of me because I had a team with me. We were like 10 to 15 people, and we had to plan the whole event from the scratch to the final execution of the event, where I had to learn a lot of conference management skills, planning, coordination, getting things from the suppliers, talking to the management, also getting the chief guest for the conference. So all sort of things I had to do, waking up early in the morning and coming back to the hostel rooms late in the night. So that was an amazing experience which I learned during the organizing of the MUN, because I feel that I had a personal attachment towards organizing, and the sort of bond which I had with my team was on another level because of the memories we had during organizing the month. So those are the three areas which I focus.
Fantastic. So, Divith, why would you recommend, all of these young people who are watching you right now, who probably haven't had that kind of experience yet, why would you recommend them to probably at least attend one MUN or be a delegate?
Okay. So now we are living in a globalized world. Everything is the processes of all the things have been done due to globalization. We have adopted the Western lifestyle. We are wearing t-shirt, jeans. We are having McDonald's, which is again an American brand. So if we are having those sort of things, if we are getting those sort of cultures within ourselves, then why not get information around the world? What's basically happening? And you see the COVID-19 crisis today. It's all because of globalization, right? We would eventually not have the virus if our borders weren't open throughout the world. This came from China, right? So if people today they are getting aware about such experience, that okay, because of thing which happened in China, which has affected us, but that's just one small arena which people are trying to get into. International relations and MUNs is about a lot of different arenas, such as human rights violations, such as gender inequality. In fact, if you see a lot of countries, they have very rigid gender inequality rules. In fact, I guess 2 or 3 years back, Saudi Arabia gave license to women. Before that, women couldn't even drive cars there. So those are the major aspects where people aren't aware about, because we live in a democratic society in India. We have freedom, so we aren't exposed to a lot of different stuff. So as an individual, it's very important to know about these key things which is happening around the world and how is it affecting our lifestyle. And as I said, everything is turned because of globalization. If people attend at least 1 month, like how I attended it, to be honest, I didn't have any sort of knowledge what is an MUN. But after attending the MUN, I got inspired and I continued doing more MUNs. And in India, before we only had 4 MUNs which took place across the country, but now there are thousands of MUNs. This is because people want to know about the world developments. People are doing months. So I would recommend today's youth, young people, to attend MUNs, because I started when I was in 9th grade, and today people are getting into MUNs when they are in 7th grade, 8th grade. They are even younger than me. So if they get to know about the world developments, the insight about things happening in the world, and how can we bring about fruitful solutions to tackle those global issues, then that would really make you a good citizen in terms of your future perspective. And that's a sort of awareness which we're getting not only for ourselves but even for the future generation. So that's one of the most important and significant thing I like to admire about MUNs. And I would like to recommend everyone to at least attend one MUN to get an insight about what is happening around the world, the basic current affairs. So that is also just enough for an individual to know about certain things which is happening all around us.
Very well, Divith. And that's exactly the kind of insight that I wanted to get, from your conversation. So I just want to add to that, yeah, that, there are a few people that do this, so that they can wear formals, they can network with people. Don't you think so? There is that whole glamour around it, and that's why
Yeah,
people get
I have
pulled into it.
I have a lot
Yeah,
of
tell me.
friends who basically come for MUN because they just wanted to wear a formal dress, because we have 2 days of a conference. One day we wear a formal attire, one day we wear a traditional attire, which is Indian basically. So they just come for it. They just want to have good photo shoots, just wear it. And we also have this most important part, which is known as the social night. So at that point of time, delegates come together. We have a DJ night. We mingle around, gather around, we bond with each other, try to get to know more about them, and we have good food. So that's one of the important things which I feel a lot of people attend rather than just attending the debates. But if that small things are also attracting people to be involved in MUN, still I think that is one of the driving factors which will be helpful for an individual. So yeah, I have a lot of friends who just attend MUNs for socials and for wearing formal attire.
Like you said, very rightly put. That's why I want to highlight it. It's all right, if you do it as a part of everything else, it drives people, that's great. But I was just talking to those people who just do it for, the photos, or just to enjoy these. So fantastic. And I myself have done a lot of MUN. So the research skills, networking with people, and I think some of my best friends, even today, are those people who I met during an MUN. I've debated with them, argued with them, and then finally we had to present working committee papers, right? So a lot of
Yeah.
impact has also been made. So Divith, we'll just close the MUN chapter as of now with the last question. What was your best memory or the biggest impact that you have created, through any particular MUN or any experience of yours?
Okay. So I think I had attended the second MUN, which was after my H1 conference. And I had to attend this MUN just after 2 days after returning from the H1 conference. So that was a pretty difficult job for me to research in those 2 days. And as being a newbie who isn't aware about basically what MUN is and how things work. So at that point of time in the second MUN, I had to gather knowledge from the research which I had done, and also the knowledge which I had to gain from the committees, how things work on, because I had gained certain knowledge from the first MUN which I attended, and that has led me towards winning my first award, that too in the second MUN, the verbal mention. That's not a major award, but that's still a recognition which I had received in my second MUN. So that's one of the most memorable thing uh, in my MUN part which I had, and because of that, that has encouraged and that has motivated me to do more months, and eventually I have received more greater awards because of that second MUN.
Fantastic, David. Great. All right. So, talk to us about your education, especially with schooling. I believe so from the beginning, you were in this residential school at Sanjay Godavat.
Okay, so my education life has been quite topsy-turvy, to be honest, because I have changed a lot of school. In fact, my parents are like, even the army people do not change so many schools. That sort of schools have changed basically. So I used to be in a residential school known as Neura High School, Panchgani. When I was in my first grade, my parents decided me to put me there. So that's again a reputed residential school. If you have seen Tare Zameen Par movie, so that
Yeah.
is the same hostel which I'd
It's
been
Freddie
to.
Mercury then there, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people.
So yeah, a lot of people go there, and it's a very nice place. So from my first to fifth standard, I was there, and then my parents decided me to get back me to Bombay so that I get to know about Bombay life, a city life. So I used to study at Arya Vidya Mandir School in Mumbai from sixth standard to eighth standard. But then I decided to go again back to residential school, which is Sanjay Ghudawat International School, where I did my ninth and 10th, because I was used to the hostel life which I had. I was used to the friend circle, because you don't have electronics with you. You do not have any sort of distractions. You're just with your friends. You're enjoying your life. You are making best use of the infrastructure and the amenities provided, which is eventually not provided in a crowded city like Mumbai. So I decided to go there. And when I got into ninth standard, I changed my curriculum from CBSE board towards IGCSE board, which is a UK curriculum basically. And to be honest, that decision which I took in my life was the most important decision. And because of that, I came into MUNs, I came into social welfare, I started community service project, because IGCC is a curriculum which not only talks about theoretical part, knowledge part, uh, not just giving a textbook knowledge, but also giving a real life scenario in terms of application, how things work out. So that has transformed my life. And I've after completing my ninth and 10th, I came back to Bombay again to pursue my higher education. And I'm currently doing my A levels, which is again this continuity of the IGCSE curriculum, where again I get to choose my own subjects rather than having a rigid hierarchy. So I'm currently studying business, economics, and sociology, which is a mixture of both commerce and arts. So I think the freedom which I've received, the sort of education which I've received, is kind of immense, kind of theoretical application, and it has basically developed and transformed myself into being a better individual. So that's my education currently.
Right. So I think great, different kind of experiences you've had right from childhood, and I'm sure you must have made different kind of friends as well that way. Lots of different things you must have learned from different places. But tell me about what are the advantages that you feel that you get when you're in a residential school compared to a normal, let's say, non-residential school.
Okay. So as I said before, when you are in a residential school, the first and foremost part is that you do not have access to your electronics. Basically, you
Right.
don't have your mobile phones with you. So it means that you don't have social media access such as Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook.
Right.
And I
Right.
think because of, yeah, and I think that is the major distraction which a lot of youth, a lot of individuals face today. And they cannot focus on studies. They cannot focus on being a human being, basically trying to build up social interactions with people because getting involved in their phone. So one of the major advantages being in a residential school is that you're just with your friends, you don't have access to your mobile phone, and you build a good connection, good bond with your friends. And today also, even if you talk to your friend, it's just like the same old days which you had conversation with them. So I think that's one of the major advantages. The second advantage is that the discipline thing which you learn from a residential school can be gotten from nowhere, because in a residential school you have to basically get up by your own self. You have to make your bed by yourself. You have to be on a time, like time management skills is more important. When you're having a breakfast, when you get into your school, there's a particular time which has been attached and you have to abide by that. Otherwise you're being punished if you do not follow this regulation. So the discipline part is again one of the most important things which I've learned, and that has definitely helped me, especially living in a city like Mumbai where a lot of people aren't disciplined enough. So I think those were the two major impacts which I had when I was in residential school. And apart from that, the infrastructure, the amenities you have, such as the football ground, cricket ground, which you do not have it in Mumbai. So you also try to build up your physical strength. You are also focused towards your studies. So overall, it develops your personality. There is not a particular way you can define the major implications when you're in a residential school, but overall you have a good experience there and that develops yourself.
Right. I think that's exactly what I wanted to get the learning and the insight from that. You're not in your comfort zone, you don't have your electronics, that discipline. I think a lot of great things you must have learned, and that must have made you who you are right now. Don't you think so?
Right, I think that was one of the most important thing which I consider being in a residential school.
Fantastic. So, what are your current education plans? What are you're currently in IGSC? In which standard?
I'm doing my A levels, so that means I'm in my 12th standard. I'll be
Okay,
completing my A levels in another 4 months, and after that I'll be getting into university.
fantastic. Any particular, what kind of degree do you want to pursue?
So as I said before, because of MUNs, I've decided to pursue international relations and politics as my majors. So that will be my undergraduate degree. I'm hoping to do that thing because of the subject combinations which I have and the knowledge which I've gained from. So that is my plans for the near future.
Fantastic. And a lot of people don't go for that. A lot of people aren't even aware that, that exists as a particular course or a degree. So where did you get, I mean, I understand your
Exactly.
inspiration, but share a couple of more insights about that. Choosing something which
So
is different, not conventional.
international relations is a course which is not available in India. So that's why hearing from you, it's a common thing. Like if you're saying that you aren't aware about international relations, I've heard from a lot of people. I've heard from my friends as well that what is international relations, and whenever somebody asks me what you want to do, I have to literally explain them that international relations means this. Because when you try to explain someone that you are doing a BCom or a BBA, people know about it. You don't have to explain them. So international relations is a specialized degree which is currently not available in India. However, you might get some of the modules in courses like liberal arts, which some of the universities like Ashoka University and Jindal universities offers. And international relations is a course which is only available in developed economies like UK, USA, Australia, Switzerland, and those kind of countries. And the course focuses upon the world issues, as the name suggests, international, where you learn about how different countries react with each other, how their policies affect the decision making with their trading partners. So international relations is all about interconnectivity between all the nations across the globe, and how different countries try to draft their own policies and how it affects their individuals. So suppose if high import tariffs, which is the tax raised by the United States for Indian goods, then the Indian economy will be impacted severely because of the high taxes there. So it's just not one particular region, one particular country, but it's the overall globe which is being affected because of the policies we have. So international relations will make you understand about how things work out in the real life world, how critically you need to evaluate how one nation has been affected by another. So these all aspects is being learned in international relations.
Fantastic. Great to learn about that, Divith, and all the best for that, for pursuing something
Thank
that
you.
you love. That would be your passion, isn't it?
Right.
Lovely, fantastic. Always very heartening to see people following their passion. Great. So, Divith, when did you begin with the Youth Education Summit? Was that the summit that you were talking about, the largest MUN, or is this something different?
So this is a separate organization which was founded by myself. The one which I'd organized, that was SGI month, which happened in Sanjay
Oh,
Godavat International School. So basically started Youth Educational Summit way before the COVID scenario, and I had great plans. I had a proper plan to implement projects, have MUNs across the country, as the name suggests. But I think because of the COVID scenario, things were pretty disastered. We couldn't organize them, but things turned online, and we have a lot of online MUNs. And I also took this opportunity to make this MUN from an offline platform to an online platform until the situation permits. So I had this MUN which took place, I guess, in the month of April, if I'm not wrong, where we had different sort of committees. We had Indian committees as well. We had international committees as well, and we had people across from India. Because when you're having in an offline conference, you can only bring people from your local region. But when I had organized this month, I had people from Mumbai, I had people from Delhi, I had people from South India. So I think one of the major perks of having this online MUN, which I started, was having a diverse range of students, individual delegates from all across India, which is again, I think, which is beneficial to discuss issues, because each and every person from a particular region have different sort of viewpoints. So that thing happened with me when I started this Youth Educational Summit, and it turned out to be a great success. We had good sort of experienced delegates which were there, and the debates were fruitful as well. So I think that was the vision which I was looking for, and eventually it turned it to be a great success.
fantastic, Divith, and wish you all the best for that. And definitely things will improve. Hopefully, it's a very uncertain time to live in, but it's really nice how you took this as a challenge, and you actually innovated and you made it completely digital, right? And you were telling me about the different perks and benefit. Definitely, you can network and involve more participants on a global level without any travel cost and all of those things that come with, I think, attending an MUN. And I think there are no other glamorous parts as well, no socials, no formals and all of those things, So at least we focus more on the content and the, right kind of debate and impact. But I've also, been a part of a couple of debates these days where people were discussing whether these digital MUNs are as effective as an offline one, or what are your thoughts on that? Do you think this is the future going forward, digital
Okay,
ones?
so there are two ways to look at it. So basically, digital, because of the COVID scenario, a lot of people cannot have access to the MUNs. But because of digital MUNs, still people can do MUNs. And I think that is one of the most important things which I feel, because a lot of curriculums like A levels, which I'm doing, the IBDP curriculum, they have a separate core component that they have to do co-curricular activities, and they have to show it to their curriculum that they have done these many kind of activities. That wouldn't be possible if we didn't have platforms such as digital MUNs, because if those things were not there, eventually people could not graduate and pass their high school. So in that particular point of thing, I think it has really benefited a lot. But on the contrary, I think the essence of MUN has been lost. The sort of actual month which we used to have, like we had great MUNs like HMON before. But because of having a digital MUN, people like me, a lot of people can basically just start doing MUNs, because you don't require much of a capital in having an MUN. No sort of an expenditure requires. You just need to set up a Zoom meeting. You just have to have some Google Forms, have a team of 2 to 3 people, and you can just charge them and you can just have an MUN. So I think that a lot of reputed MUNs which have turned online have really benefited the youth of today. But a lot of MUnners, like a lot of people who have been organizing MUNs, who just see the finance side of it, who doesn't see the transforming youth to become a better citizen side of it, who are just profit motive basically. So those MUNs have drastically impacted the MUN circuit which happened across all of the India. And because of these MUNs, I think organizations like mine, organizations like HMUN, organization like IIMUN have been negatively impacted a lot, because our vision is to bring out the leadership skills. Our vision is to have sort of development of an individual to see the world into a positive direction, right direction, rather than just setting up a debate, having a agenda, and just trying to debate upon this thing, and you just won this award. So I think at that point of time, it has definitely negatively impacted a lot of MUNs today, and because of that, the MUN circuit has been defamed a lot.
Right. Thank you, Divith, for sharing your views on that. Very important. All right. So, Divith, you also, despite of in spite of doing so many different things, working on your academics and being an avid MUNner, you also find the time to volunteer and contribute to the society and the welfare of the society. So, tell us a couple of your volunteering experiences. What have you done in the past, and what are you doing
Oh,
now?
yeah. So before the COVID scenario, I used to do a lot of on-ground projects. As I've said before, I'm associated with Janseva organization, and I'm part of Rotaract Club. So when I was part of these organizations, we did a lot of stuff such as the beach cleanup, which was the one of the most closest to my heart, that sort of project, because I usually discuss environmental policies in an MUN, and I just didn't wanted to discuss sitting in an AC room and talking about it. I rather wanted to implement it in a real life scenario. So we had this beach cleanup we had organized by Janseva Foundation, and we got around 500 to 600 volunteers in Mumbai, which was quite significant. We had to get permission from the BMC as well. So
Juhu, right?
yeah, in Juhu Beach. So there we called a lot of people. We cleaned up the beach, and a lot of garbage was removed from that. So that was one of the most significant projects I have done. And that was basically during the rainy season. Again, it's pretty hard to do a beach cleanup during a rainy season drive. Second important project which I had done with the Rotaract Club was something known as Shukra Rakhi during the occasion of Raksha Bandhan. Now, usually we see that during the Raksha Bandhan, we have our families, we have our cousins. If someone do not have their siblings with them to tie their Rakhis, but what about those public servants who are there on the streets working on the day of the Raksha Bandhan? They don't have a family to go. They don't have someone nearby with them to have the celebration of such an amazing occasion. So we, as a Rotaract Club, we wanted to do something for them, because they are the one who have basically helped us during such uncertainty times, and they are the ones who are cleaning our streets. They are the ones who are protecting us, such as the policemen. So all these public servants, we decided to tie them rakhis on such occasions to make them happy, to make them feel part of our Indian tradition. Though we say that things have turned globalized, we are adopting the Western consumer lifestyle, but at a particular point of time, we are still having that Indian within us, the Indian culture sort of thing within us. So we wanted to not only look as from our family point of view, but involving them and making them a part of our family. We wanted to involve them in such occasions. We wanted to tie them rakis so that they also feel special, they also feel motivated, and we are also contributing towards the society. So even when you see a smile in front of them, it makes you feel happy because you have done something great for them. That was again one of the most amazing project which I've seen, especially in emotional terms. So that sort of projects I've done. And in COVID scenario, we had a lot of webinar sessions where we called upon top-notch leaders who spoke about finance related stuff, entrepreneurship related stuff, and things which are going around the world. So we had Manju Loda, who is the founder of Loda Foundation, the Loda Builders in Mumbai. We also called them, and we had a great interactive session with them that how businesses have been impacted due to the COVID scenario. So in that sort of thing, we had done in COVID during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I think we are still continuing to do a lot of different projects. We have some great plans ahead, and I think we'll be continuing to doing them.
Fantastic, Divith. It's always heartening to see when a young person, wants to not only focus on your personal goals and your career, but also wants to give back to the society. Do like your mindset and the way you think. Thank you for that, and wish you the best. Divith, now all the young people that are watching you right now, and they haven't probably done volunteering before. Why do you think they should take up volunteering? What are the benefits that you have seen for yourself that you would recommend them to take up volunteering?
Okay. So when you volunteer, we sometimes we are lazy enough that we don't want to volunteer for ourselves until someone forces us to do that. But once you come onto the ground, once you start volunteering, you feel that sort of an attachment towards the society, that you are doing something good for them. It's not only the happiness that has been received to the other person; it's yourself also. The sort of happiness, the sort of self-actualization which you kind of receive when you do such kind of work. So that basically motivates you as yourself, and also it makes you a good citizen, especially when we have a lot of things, a lot of issues going around. Secondly, people who have not started volunteering by their own, curriculums like A levels and IBDP have encouraged them to do volunteer work, and that is basically the part of their coursework, that is basically a part of their assessment, and they have been graded upon that point of time. So that has also led towards a lot of youth who have come on the ground, and they are doing a lot of projects in terms of community service, etc. And drastically, we have seen that student-led organizations like me, there are various organizations who have formed because of the awareness which is being created in the society. And when they try to volunteer, they are giving something back to the society, and it's not just going to benefit them, it's going to benefit them in the near future as well. We can see that there is climate change happening, but when we are trying to conserve the forest, when we are trying to clean up our own beaches, in the near future you're going to live a happy lifestyle. Things are going to be pretty good enough. You won't have diseases like the coronavirus which had due to a lot of deforestation which happened. So in all sort of aspects, it's not only the society which is benefiting, it's also your individual pursuit. So if a youth, if an individual, if a child is being taught in that manner that it's the one you are only going to benefit, then I think they will come upon the field and they will do volunteering work. So youth have to come on the ground, they have to do these sort of work, they have to have a positive mindset towards upbringing the social welfare of the society. So I think in that perspective, it's going to benefit both society as well as the individual.
Fantastic, Divith. That's really well put up. Just to add to that, volunteering has been claimed to be one of the leading, let's say, activities that builds leadership skills, team working and team building skills, as well as releases the happiness chemical, dopamine, right? Like you said, the joy of giving when you see the smile in people's face. So fantastic. Now, Divith, I just wanted to ask you last two, three questions before we have Jerry sir to come in and ask you some thought-provoking questions and share his insights. So number one is, Divith, I mean, you do so many interesting and very impactful things, but what about, your mental health? Have you faced some challenges, any low points, anxiety, or any low moments or depressing moments? And how have you, overcome them?
I think mental health is a contemporary issue because of the COVID scenario. Everybody is things have turned online and everybody is sitting at their homes. Not only students as well as parents as well. They are doing work from home. So a lot of people aren't open to mental health. They feel that it's not a disease. Basically, a lot of people feel that physical disease like I would say heart disease can be a sort of health. But when it comes to mental health, people aren't open enough and they treat it as if हो जाएगा छोड़ देंगे बाद में it will eventually get out of your mindset and you'll be fine enough. But to be honest, I have also been affected because of the coronavirus pandemic because I am currently studying in a board year where I'll be giving my board examinations. I have a lot of pressure from the school itself. I have to do a lot of assignments. I have to sit in front of my laptop from morning till evening, then again attend my tuitions. So it's again stressful enough. It's too much to take in. Sitting in front of your laptop, that has drastically affected your health. And again, when you do not have social interactions in personal with your friends, your relatives, your teachers, at that point of time, we forget to communicate with others. We forget that sort of a human attachment. So again, that has affected myself mentally. But we have to be motivated enough. That's how life goes on. And we have learned that COVID has become a part of our life and it is a new normal, which we have to do. So I didn't lose hopes in that sort of terms and I have overcome my situation in a lot of ways. And I would like to suggest audiences, those who are watching me right now, to also follow these steps. And I think eventually this will also help. So I started meditating in mornings because people say meditation is one of the key driving factor to reduce mental health and improve your concentration and focus. And you also have a good euphoric feeling after meditating. Just need to sit in a calm area. Just give 10 to 15 minutes, not much. Be focused, be relaxed, put on a calm music in front of yourself and just meditate for a particular while. And I believe that you'll be having such a great focusing strength and you will feel good from yourself and all those sort of issues will just go out. So you just need to flush out all the negative thoughts which you have in your mindset and bring in the positive thing. So I think meditation has helped me a lot doing this kind of things. And I have started going for Ayurvedic medicines because this has been one of the core components of our Indian culture. This was historically being used. So I drink a lot of kadas. Actually, my mom forces me to drink that, but eventually that has helped me because it cleanses my body. I feel relaxed after having that. So you should have kadas as well. So that is definitely good. Again, I'm not forcing you all. So these two things have been one of the good things. And in terms of emotionally, you should not keep things within yourself. Speak out with your family, speak out with your friends, what sort of problems you're incurring, you're facing. Because you should not be like that, that someone else is just going to judge you and by speaking out your health issues. It's not like that, to be honest. If you just go and speak out in front of your parents, they are the first person to hear you out and they are the first person to basically give solutions towards your problems which you face in your lifestyle. So just speak out to your friend. If not your family, if you're uncomfortable to speak to your mom and dad, just go and speak out to your friends. Okay, that I'm having this sort of things. And eventually, who knows, your friend also faces some sort of issues. You guys can just open up, bond with each other, talk to each other, and you feel good about it. So just open up, speak up, don't keep things within yourself. So these all factors, these are very small factors, and these can be implemented by each and everyone. Nothing, it's not a rocket science. So I think this will definitely help you to overcome mental health because, to be honest, it has helped me to overcome mental health.
Fantastic, Divith. Very well put and compiled from your own experiences. Fantastic, and I'm sure a lot of people listening to you will be, impacted. So, Divith, you were talking about your parents, so that was my next question as well. That during this journey, how has the parent support helped you? And there is a second part of the question as well, because a lot of young people who are trying to do something new or trying to follow their passions, try to do something apart from just getting more marks, academics, but they have a tough time, buying or rather convincing their parents, right? So, how do you suggest they do that? Please share.
Yeah. So when you're living in an Indian society, you know that marks is something which is more important to your family apart from any other thing because of the sort of competition we have. We have around 1.3 billion of population. So parents are like, you have to get good marks, get above 90s, get into top unis. So that's one sort of mentality which has been there in the parents. But I think today, because a lot of people are coming up in the field, there are a lot of NGOs which have taken up initiative. There is a slight change in the mentality of the parents as well. They want their child to do something else, something apart from the curriculum, something apart from the academics. Not maybe not community service, but maybe at least do some sort of dance, get into sports, play some football, cricket, etc., and lots of other stuff. So a lot of people are convincing their parents regarding the perks of it, and parents are also inclined to hear them out. And I think some of the parents are more interested to put child into extracurricular activities apart from their interest. So I think if that sort of a force is there from the parents, but if the child feels that I don't want to be a part of it because maybe of some other reasons which I don't want to specify about that, so at that point of time the parent should not force the child to do a particular thing if it's unwilling to wish. But then if the child really wants to do something way out of the box, way out of the academics, um, standing apart from the whole society, then I think parents should be as interested as the child, look in a positive manner. It's not, things are not only about marks, as you see, because in fact, the new educational policy, they have also got some reforms. They have introduced vocational education, such as coding. So that used to be an extracurricular for most of the people, but now it's a part of our own curriculum itself. So parents should look in that sort of perspective, that how this is drastically going to benefit a lot of people, because it's not something that you just going to get academics and going to get into good jobs. It's not like that. You need to have a good hands-on experience with a lot of things as well. So parents should look in that particular manner, and they have to motivate and encourage them. This has happened with myself. My mom has really supported me in a lot of initiatives. In fact, she is the founder of Janseva Foundation, where I am associated with them, and she is the one who gave me the position of the president of this prestigious organization. And she was the one who told me to get into MUNs, start debates. And because of her, I think I give a lot of I thank my mom a lot for the sort of support, the sort of motivation which she has given me, which has transformed my life. And because of that, I'm sitting here and having an interactive session with you. So my parents have really had a great role in supporting me in terms of extracurriculars, in terms of other things apart from that, as well as my dad. He's also one of the most influential person which I always like to talk with him regarding my this things, and he's also happy with my achievements, my small achievement towards the society which I have contributed. So my parents are kind of helpful towards that, and I request other parents also to be open with their child and support them towards extracurricular activities.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Divith. That's exactly what I wanted you to, share with all of us. Thank you for that. All right. Second last question is, Divith, now you are our youth fellow. So, firstly, what do you think about our mission, which is to discover these young champions of change who are not only just career mules, as Jerry Sir calls it, but also, contributors or trying to make an impact on the society with their change mindset or ideas for action or trying to pursue their passion. And one is, what do you think about our mission? And secondly, how was your experience, being a youth fellow when you came for the conclave at IIT Delhi, and how has the impact been since then?
Okay. So the one thing which I like about Rex is that they have given a platform for the young generation, for the youth. They are recognizing their talents, they are recognizing their achievement. Because if you see a lot of organizations who give awards, they are in terms of giving awards to the celebrities, to a lot of old people who are doing a lot of work. I'm not saying they are also doing a great job. We have awards like Bharat Ratna, those sort of stuff. But we do not have organizations who promote and support and recognize students who are contributing a lot towards society. So that's the one thing which I like about Rex, is that they are giving a platform for today's youth, and they are recognizing them and affiliating them with a lot of various awards, which in fact motivates them towards doing more such things, which will benefit the society. Because if students are not motivated enough, at some point of time they may also feel that what's the point of doing this thing. So one thing about Rex is that it has given me a platform, it has motivated me a lot. The sort of recognition which I've received from Rex has definitely realize myself that I am beneficial towards the society. So that is one of the most amazing things which I like about the Rex organization. Secondly, my experience at IIT Delhi was really amazing. Delhi is an amazing city, and I think I've been to Delhi for the second time in my lifestyle because of the opportunity you gave me. So, being to IIT, one of the prestigious organizations, was a wonderful experience which I had. The journey from Mumbai to Delhi, and I had a proud feeling when I used to say to my relatives, to my family, to my teachers, to my friends that I've been nominated for this award and I'll be traveling to Delhi. So at that point of time, they also get some sort of an ideology mentality that this person has some capacity within himself. He's doing something great and we should support them. So my experience overall was really nice, and other students as well, because I it was not only about the personal gain which I received. I met a lot of other influencers like me, other youths who are doing a lot of work in a lot of various fields. And I spoke to them. I had a great bonding with a lot of people, and I got to know about what youth are doing in today's world. And in fact, some of them used to do on another level. To be honest, even I cannot relate to that sort of things. So these youth are trying to contribute in such a big level manner where I wasn't aware that things are happening in India in that particular thing. So when I came there, I bonded with a lot of people. I got to know an insight regarding their work, their lifestyle, and how they're contributing towards the society. So that was the overall. I basically gathered a lot of information about all this kind of stuff, and it was really intriguing and surprising to see a lot of new things happening and how Indian youth is reacting towards a lot of issues which has been coming up in today's world.
Right. Thank you so much, Divith. All right. So my final question before we have Jerry sir to ask you a few questions is that what is your message to the youth and all the future fellows who are right now watching you?
Okay. So my direct message to the youth is that do not think about your future, what you're going to become. Do not think about your careers, because things change up. You might be thinking that you want to do something, but then eventually you might be doing something else, which happened for me. But you have to focus on your current lifestyle, how you're living it. You have to live it happily rather than focusing about the future. You basically focus upon your current lifestyle, how you're going to enjoy each and every second of your lifestyle, how you're going to enjoy with your friends, how you're going to be good in your academics, how you're going to benefit the society. So currently, if you're happy, then eventually you will get towards your own success, and your brain will definitely transform into towards your careers. So rather than just focusing about the future, focusing about the sort of competition which we have, that because of the overthinking, a lot of people have been got into mental health issues. So just do not focus about that right now. There is a lot of time to get towards that. Just focus about your current lifestyle, how things are going to be, and enjoy each and every second, because this is not going to be experienced once you become older. So just enjoy your lifestyle right now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Divith. That was a very insightful and candid conversation. Now, let me bring in Jerry sir to ask you a couple of thought-provoking questions and share his insights based on our conversation. Jerry sir, over to you. Can't hear you, sir. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is, like I always say, the new Mahamantra of the season, of not only of the season, of the whole year, I think. Can you hear me now? Unmute. Can you see me now? Okay. So very nice listening to you, Divithji. Excellent. And I was very happy to see that you're doing a lot of Ayurvedic medicine, etc. Khadas,
Yeah.
and very good. I always say that Ayurveda is the essence of preventive medicine. But of course, we have to follow the science properly rather than what is being propagated in the country right now, like Mutra for anything and everything, or chips made from cow dung. I, I, I seriously don't know where these guys are coming from. Where are these guys coming from? Any insight you can share with me, Divithji? Where do you think these
So
guys are coming from? Are they from Earth?
I don't know, but this sort of a traditional ideology a lot of a conservative thinking which a lot of people have, especially in COVID-19. I think I saw this news where a lot of people was having a good shower in the cow dung, and they were like, if I have the shower here, I wouldn't get COVID, and I'm protective. I don't know what sort of thinking they had towards that, and they just went into that. And another thing, that they developed a chip from that radiations will not come, so that is again made out of
Right.
the
I
cow
mean,
dung.
these guys are amazing. I mean, they're getting wisdom in like in kilos from some kind of special diet that they're having, right?
Yeah.
Some what is that lady's name? What is that Sadhvi? What she calls herself Sadhvi, but she carries Louis Vuitton bags and all. What's her name?
Pragya.
Pragya. She says you touch the cow like this. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what action it is, clockwise or anti-clockwise, but you touch the cow like this, then your blood pressure goes down. And the cow's blood pressure goes up. Poor cow, yeah. One side you say you worship the cow, on the other side you want the cow's blood pressure to go up. What are you doing? Or you touch the cow like this, the blood pressure comes. I mean, I'm a little confused here because this is not Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a science which has to be understood and practiced properly. You cannot do all this kind of nonsense and make mockery out of it, right? Then you're making a mockery out of our entire traditional knowledge and wisdom. And I think that's the big learning that we as youngsters have to tell these guys that stop this tomfoolery. We are tired of this now. What? How much tomfoolery? I mean, whether it's the US, which is the world's, they say, not I'm not saying, before all the bucks come after me, the world's greatest democracy. They go, wow, greatest democracy. You have Trump, man. How can it be greatest democracy, right? In a national survey, this will sound like a joke to you, Divith, but I promise you, it's not a joke. This is reality. In a national survey in the United States of America in 2017, many Americans, educated fellows, right? They have Harvard and Ivy League over there, right? So many Americans who went to all these fancy schools and colleges and Ivy Leagues of the world, they believed that brown chocolate is made from brown milk, which comes from brown cows.
Oh.
True or false? They said true, right? Believe it or not, but this is a fact. If you do a Google, you will get the search, right? Now you know how Trump became the president.
Right.
We are no better. We do havans to address climate change. मतलब और भी climate को बिगाड़ो. So some kind of religious nonsense and blind beliefs has blinded us all. And the sad part is that I see the youngsters getting blinded by this. Right? Now you see this entire Tanishq thing that has happened. How bizarre is that? I say youngsters like you and Nishant should get married to Muslims, Christians, because that is the only way to save this country. And they are doing love jihad. What is love jihad? Stupid fellows, idiots. But look at the violence that they are creating. Look at the by trolling and by bringing this entire Tanishq thing down, they have shown that the thought process, the mindset has become very violent. Where a company like Tata took a decision to pull down the ad because they were scared for their employees being attacked by violent mobs, because you've seen it happening with people who are traditional butchers, and you just lynch them by saying that they are slaughtering cows, but they were not. Now how do you kind of when an entire government machinery is involved in inciting an entire mob, how does that work? Now the reason I'm asking you is this is because you spoke about volunteering and doing good for society, which is good. The vanilla service I call that vanilla service. But what about the bigger issues which need to be addressed? The apathy of the grown-ups, though, I've given up on them. People my age, I've given up. 50 years old, absolute useless buggers. They are more happy about getting their next big car, next big TV, next big paycheck, right? But if the youngsters go that same route, will this country be worth living in? I have always told people, please don't leave the country. Don't do a brain drain. I even try to dissuade my brothers, my sisters from, don't leave this country. This is our home. I personally did not leave. Today, I'm promising you, Divith, I tell people, please go. This country is going to go from bad to worse. It's only going to regress more. क्योंकि हिंदू खतरे में है. With this one line, they have completely polarized an audience. And this notion of Hindu Sharia state. You understand Hindu Sharia state? States like Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, they want a Hindu Sharia state. What are your insights on this? Or I can keep rambling, but what are your insights on this? As a youngster, I want to know your thoughts. Are you happy with what is happening in the country? First of all, answer that. Yes or no. Are you happy with what is happening in the country?
Totally not. The sort of disaster as you spoke regarding how things have been happening and how today's youth has been getting towards that sort of a propaganda which is being portrayed by the media itself, because a lot of bigger issues have not been tackled, a lot of bigger issues have not been taken into consideration. So recently when we had this Riya Chakraborty case of related to drugs, at that point of time there was nothing about the Indian GDP, the economic figure.
Absolutely, it's a breakdown. It's a breakdown.
Exactly.
Bangladesh is doing better than us. And these goons in government who wanted to send people from Bangladesh back, and they even tried to implement CAA by saying that only the the Hindus, and you can't do that. So today Bangladesh is doing better than us. Probably Indian people want to go there because these guys have completely wrecked the country. At least if something was working, we could have understood. But if you're just doing all this hodgepodge, hocus pocus all the time and using media only to divert attention, when the chalo karo jo bhi karna hai, ram janmabhoomi ye wo nonsense karo, but what about doing something about the economy, the jobs, careers for people? People are dying of hunger over here. So what are your thoughts on that? Because on one side you have Chetan Bhagat saying that the youngsters should do something. I'm telling you that I've given up on the grown-ups. So now the only hope that the youngsters should do something, right? Not that I agree with what Chetan is saying, because I want to ask Chetan Bhagat, what did you do? Right? Because ask people from your age group, what did you guys do? You all were all being subservient and sycophantic with the politicians. So we should teach our youngsters not to be sycophantic and subservient. Be voices of dissent. Rise against this fellows. Talk against it. So what are your views on this?
Yeah. So for me personally, good politics is equal to good economics.
Right.
So I just do not believe upon the political view regarding all sort of controversies which we have. People talking about this, that, every sort of thing. They just do not have jobs at their home and they just come towards and talking rubbish. So if you talk about politics, it needs to be seen in an economic point of view, because at the end, we try to evaluate everything based on what economy is doing in the global arena, especially. So for me, good politics is equal to good economics. So at this point of time, a lot of figures were misleading. Like especially the media didn't portray the minus 23.9% GDP figure which India had. They didn't stress upon that rather than focusing about rubbish things regarding drug case.
I'm very happy you're saying that, because rubbish things indeed. Because there was not even a murder over there. It was just a person who committed suicide because he had a bad lifestyle.
Exactly. That's one particular sort of a viewpoint which I like to think in that particular manner. And I personally believe that a lot of politicians, they try to come up, they try to speak about this thing. They just try to speak, but then when it comes towards actions, who is going to take the actions? You cannot just speak up that, okay, we'll do this, we'll do this towards the economy, that towards the economy. But at certain point of time, you have to take good decision making. You have to make certain policies. You talk about the unemployment rate. The national income statistics does not have the unemployment figure of 2020, because the government indeed knows that the unemployment rate is very high in our economy, and Modi is afraid to show that figure to the citizens of our own nation.
Right, because Modi knows he's completely failed the country, and he doesn't understand governance or administration. He only understands monkey bath, not monkey. They're monkeying around, Modi and Amit Shah. But what are your thoughts about what happened in Hathras?
Yeah. So Hathras was again a very, I would say, a negative sideback, which again reflected what happened in the Nirbhaya case.
Right,
And a lot of attention was not given at that particular point of time. The
right,
brutality which happened in the Atras case, the
right,
victim, this
right,
was tortured by the policeman, and a lot
right,
of again misleading figures. So again, we didn't focus upon that point of time. We do not have strong policies towards the one who are trying to do rapes in India. In fact, economies across the world, they have very strict policies towards them. So you see economies like UAE, if a person commits a rape, the police comes and in a matter of 15 minutes, the person has been executed. But I would not rather support execution as a one particular point of viewpoint. But I would like to say that at least something the government needs to do to tackle such major issues. Where are we lying? The rapes are happening on a daily basis. Some things have been reported and not reported in a full particular manner because the media knows that the government knows that some things needs to be portrayed, which will bring controversy in India, and especially when the elections comes in. At that point
right,
of time, you want to show good side of the story. But what about the rest of the term? You are
right,
just moving towards your whole agenda and just doing something else, which is not good for the our Indian economy.
right, right. Absolutely. And the sad part is that, I mean, on one side we talk about a burgeoning youth because we are supposed to have a 55% population which is younger than most other countries, right? And we call it a demographic dividend, which not only the current government but the past government has also been lying to the people. Now, do you think it's a demographic dividend when people are not engaged in meaningful, effective, productive work, and when there are no jobs for them, when there are no career options for them? Can it be a demographic dividend? What are your thoughts on this?
So, as you said, has one of the major working population. We have a lot of human capital with ourselves, and that's one of the strong points and one of the factor of production which
Right,
benefits India from a lot of economy. But we
right,
are not using this human capital in the most efficient manner. As you
right,
said, as we have already discussed, that the unemployment figures are not disclosed and it's quite high. And at another side of point is that we are trying to talk about digital India. We are making things automated. We are getting technology. That is good.
right,
That is really good in terms of economic point. But
right,
what about those jobs which has been lost? What about those people who worked hard towards the economy? They had a good vision for them, but now they are uncertain because of that. A lot of people who are employees, they are trying to become self-employed because of the uncertainty of the job security which they receive. They want
right,
to do something new because they
right,
know about the future of India. They do
right,
not want, they do not have an opportunity. Students like me, we know that there's a lot of competition here. 10 lakh people give exam for IIT, 10,000 get selected, and IITs also do not have a big fat check right now today in India.
right,
We want
right,
to get out of India, we want to study in abroad, we want to settle there, because we know that the jobs opportunity is good there. But we are privileged enough to go there. But what about the most of the population who live below the poverty line? They do not have access to this. They have been, taught in the negative manner. Things have not been but in that favor point of view. So that is going to be a very drastic effect because it doesn't mean that a high economic growth doesn't mean that your economics is doing well, because in terms of the real GDP per capita, eventually people, the development of a country is not happening. People are earning less. You're not talking about the environment point of view because
right.
economic growth is there. A lot of pollution is happening. But does that mean that our country is actually being developed? You see China. China is a wonderful economy, but they are still a developing economy because of their communist party policies, their certain human right violations, and all that sort of stuff. But we need to see
But
in terms
but
of development manner.
they at least say that we are a closed, a tight-fisted community because they are not a democracy. But we are a
Right.
democracy. But in a democracy, you're doing muscle power, right? And you're hiding it.
Exactly.
So an entire rape happens and you cover it up. You even hire a PR agency to cover it up, right? Now,
There's no freedom of speech, in fact.
yeah, I mean, somebody speaks against you, you say sedition. I mean, where is the democracy? So that then we are probably worse than China because China is at least stark that we are not a democracy. We are a communist country, right? So we clamp down on freedom of expression. But here you're saying you're a democracy, our constitutional rights are being violated. So that's a bigger sin and a bigger crime. Yes or no?
Right. Yeah.
So we can go on with this, but the point is, what do you think? I mean, do you think sensible people will stay here? Because nowadays you can't even comment something on Facebook where all the trolls and all the bugs come after you, right? They, you can be anybody. You can be a good Hindu, and they will come after you. Forget
Right.
a guy like me with a Christian sounding name. I don't practice any religion. I don't believe in any god, right? Whether it is the Christian God or some Hindu God or some Muslim God, I don't believe, because God is also too divided, right? But the point is, even a Hindu person who comments, like this lady who spoke today, she's a Saraswat Brahmin and a professor of law or something, I think, in some college. The video has gone viral from Quint, and people are attacking her now.
Right.
So, are we saying that only the idiots will stay behind in this country, and the
See,
sensible, insightful, wise people will leave this country? Is that what we are saying?
yeah, because the problem in India is that a lot of people, as we talked about brain drain, you see Sundar Pichai, you see Satya Nadella, they are one of the influential leaders, but they are the CEO of the American brands. If they would have been in India, India would have prospered right now. The same goes for the politician. A lot of politicians aren't even uneducated. You talk about our education ministry as well. He doesn't have a good education, and he's drafting the policies.
Who's
But
that? Who's that? I've stopped tracking people now. Who's the education minister now?
um,
I knew it was Smriti Irani once upon a time.
he's a man, I guess. Do not, I cannot recall his name right now. But
Mm,
then he doesn't have a, I guess he doesn't have a degree as well, and
okay,
he's formulating the policies. So now
okay.
the new educational policy which came, now they are
Hmm,
trying to say that this will be implemented within a decade. यानी कि
right,
अगर आपने policy अभी डाली है, just for a political gain, you're just proposing a particular policy, but वो एक decade के बाद आएगा. What about the current generation? They are missing
right,
out the
right.
education
But
system,
because
right?
unfortunately they have a plan to even kind of saffronize that,
Right,
because they want to teach people all nonsense history, right? uh, and that's what we are doing. So, on one side you're building temples and statues of Shivaji and Patel. And do you think the common man in UP and Bihar cares, the person who's struggling? आप उनको रोटी तो रोटी उनका भगवान, रोटी उनका राम, रोटी उनका कृष्णा, रोटी उनका जीसस, रोटी उनका अल्लाह, तो उनको खाना तो है नहीं। ऊपर से आप मतलब जात पात करके उनको मतलब उनको और भी दबा रहे हो आप, तो कैसे चलेगा? And yes, I kind of share the same sentiment as you, that only the idiots, the nincompoops will be left behind in this country. All these guys who are the bucks and the trolls and who talk nonsense, and many of them are very educated fellows who've
right,
fallen for this notion Hindu state and nonsense like that. They don't even know what is coming for them, right? Because
exactly.
after the Muslims and Christians are done with, they'll come after you. First it will be like, I'm the highest Hindu, so नीचे वाले हिंदू को दबाओ, फिर उसके ऊपर वाले हिंदू को दबाओ, फिर उसके वाले ऊपर को हिंदू को दबाओ, और जब तक मतलब ऊपर वाला हिंदू दब जाएगा, उनको उसको बचाने वाला कोई नहीं होगा. I think
Right,
people who with this mindset have to think what these guys are doing, because these guys are only playing the Hindu card. They don't give a damn about Hindus or anybody. They don't give a damn about any god. चाहे वो मोदी हो या शाह हो या जो भी politician हो. They don't give a damn. And they don't give a damn about any of the people. Whether you're
right,
Hindu or Muslim, they don't give a damn. They are only bothered about looting this country and plundering this country. And that's what they're doing with their cronies like Ambani and Adani and all these guys, right? While they
exactly.
keep us busy with all this nonsense. And the fools that we are, we stay busy with all this nonsense. Sushant Singh murder, Ria drugs. Arey chodo yaar, hame kya lena dena? Is the country running because of film industry? I think people have to be sensible. I think more than that, the youth has to be sensible. And I would also request people in the, people from our young leaders and students, that don't just do vanilla service. Also start taking hard stands against what is wrong in this country. Whether it is BJP or Congress or Aam Aadmi Party or whoever, they are not our rulers. They are our servants. They are the servants of the people, because democracy means people power, demos and kratos. It does not mean politician power, bureaucrats power, business people's power. It is people power. And I think we need to reclaim it and preserve it. Today, we are not a democracy. We are a joke in the name of a democracy. We're not even a banana republic. Even banana republics are better than this country. So we really have to take huge conscious effort to be the change. Because if everybody goes away from this country has already gone to the dogs. I'm telling you, with the kind of petty mindsets that we have, we will not just regress even further. We will be living hell. And I think people should realize that, especially the youth should realize that. And I think it's time for the youth to educate their parents that don't get swayed by all this nonsense. It's time for the youth to educate their parents that please don't stop. I mean, what's wrong with you? Why are you into all this blind beliefs? Mein Brahman hu, untouchable. What's wrong with you? In the current time and era, you're thinking somebody's untouchable, somebody is below you. So on one side, we're talking about going to Mars, fancy cars you're driving. And this mindset is also of the urban Indian. Educated Indians also think like this only. I'm a Brahmin, I'm better, including youngsters. I'm telling you, I had an encounter with a 27-year-old boy 5 years ago who thought he's better than Dashrath Manji because he's a Brahmin. And IIT, I am educated. I had to tell him, you will never be, you're right. Why am I comparing you to Dashrath Manji? Dashrath Manji was a Dalit from the Musar community. I said, you're right. You will never be anything near Dashrath Manji. With all your Brahminical attitude and with all your IIT, IIM education, you're useless. To kar hi nahi payega jo Dashrath Manji ne kiya. So nikal mere kamre se. I told him straight, collect your money from Toastmasters and leave my gathering. Leave the audience. And Intel fired him later. So what I'm trying to say is that this is a mindset which has percolated from generation to generation, and it's only getting worse instead of getting better. On one side, we are saying we want to compete with the Americas and the European countries and be more progressive. On the other side, our thought, because everything is in this mind. If this mindset is so regressive, how can we be progressive? So we need deep cleansing, and I think the youth has to play a role, whether they are Muslims or Christians or Hindus or Sikhs or Parsis or Jews, that let's stop this religious bunkum. If there is a God, let him take care of everything. But let's not divide ourselves in the names of God. And let's not do this caste and religion and, and let people get away with crimes in the name of caste and religion. It's not right. It doesn't, we're not looking good in the country right now. I feel ashamed. I used to feel proud to say I'm an Indian once upon a time. Today I feel ashamed. I'm really feeling ashamed. And I'm saying this from the anguish of my heart. I mean, the past 2 weeks I've felt miserable. Miserable after that Hathras case. And it's something which makes you feel like, there's a stink coming from you as an Indian. You're stinking. No, I'm talking about myself. I feel like, ooh, not a good feeling. So it's time for us to rise. It's time for us to awaken and awaken our elders, because they all have this deeply embedded in them that we are better. It's that entitlement. I think the youngsters have, since you do a lot of work with the youth, just like us, I think the youngsters need to rise. And it's time for the youngsters to teach even teachers think like this, huh? So it's time for the youngsters to teach the teachers and the parents. That's what I had, that's what I had written in this book of mine called Karma Kari Kid Power, that the child is the father of the woman and the man. The original saying is the child is the father of the man. And, I'll just tell you it's from a poem, right, by William Wordsworth called A Rainbow in the Sky. My heart leaves. The child is the father of the man, and I could wish my days to be bound each to each by natural piety, where he says that the human being is a part of the natural ecosystem. We are nature. We are part of nature, right? So preserve nature. So here, instead of preserving nature, we destroy entire forest to build some stupid statue in Coimbatore, right? Which is done by so-called enlightened fellow called Sadhguru. Then we are doing the
Right.
same in other places. We are destroying nature, and we're talking about, all false kind of things. It's a very dangerous sign. And I think the future belongs to you. I'm going to turn 50 in November. Not half, but more than one third of my life is over. I always said at 60 or 65 max, I depart, because it's time to go. Then you start going downhill, right? So I have probably another 15 years left. But what I'm trying to say is, you guys are the future. And if you all don't start doing something about preserving this country, first reclaiming it, and then preserving a good mindset, a progressive mindset, then I see no hope. And I say that,
Yeah.
I used to be the most hopeful about India, most hopeful, all my years, right from the time I was a 15-year-old to now, right? There were opportunities to go abroad. I said, this is the country, this is the place, and this place can be great. It is great. The people have become regressive, and that's what is making our country so regressive. And I really feel like crying about that. It's depressing that
Yeah.
what could have been the trend setter for the world, because we have the biggest resource. We have the people, and
Yeah.
people who are actually very passionate about what they do, but we are misdirecting that passion in the wrong direction. So I'll leave you with that thought. And I think we should inspire all our youth to educate the grown-ups about how to live with what we always prided ourselves on: unity in diversity. And with that thought, I shall sum up. Any closing insights from you before we wrap up for the evening?
I would just like to say thank you so much, Jay sir. Thank you so much, Nishan, for inviting me to your amazing initiative. I'm kind of delighted to be here, and I'm really inspired by your thoughts, especially the last few words which I had heard from your mouth. That was really amazing, and I personally believe that Indian youth will be the future of tomorrow. So that's one of the perspective I learned from today, which I had with the session. Overall, I had a very amazing time with. Thank you.
Thank you, Divithji. Coming from you means a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nishant sir. See you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Namaste.
Have a good evening. Bye.
Thank you.